Well, Juicy J did an interview recently, and he said that drugs were the reason why 3-6 Mafia broke up.
Well, hey, it could have been for Juicy. You get what I'm saying? I can't say that that was for me, or that was for Paul, or that was for Lord them, or Cooper Boo. I can only say that was for what Juicy felt like. It was drugs that made him feel like, hey, I don't want to be around these guys anymore, to the extent of every day being around them and they getting high or whatever. But, in real life, if you're not setting people in a position to see better, then they're going to always do what they already been doing. You get what I'm saying? So,
Well, what he said, from heroin to meth to cocaine, all kinds of pills, a lot of drugs were consumed during the times that we were together. When everyone was sober and shit, everyone's on the same page. But when cocaine's involved, things change. But I'm not pointing to a figure at nobody. Can't think of nothing else that would have caused the group to break up and said, why people wasn't showing up in the studio. Business was crazy. Everything's folding. It was the drugs.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been the drugs, but I did drugs and I was always on time. So, I ain't gonna lie, like I wasn't, you heard me on the song. So, I did drugs, but if they said be somewhere, I was there. Whatever time they said, just like I was today,
Yeah,
I was early. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was early.
Yeah.
And I'm not on drugs now, but I'm always on my business. You get what I'm saying? And I made sure, since Paul and Juicy gave me this chance, not to let them down. You get what I'm saying? So I always was there. I don't give a fuck if I was coked out, drunk, on pills or whatever. I always put in my head the shit they said, be on time and give me a time to be where I need to be. So I was always on time, For the other guys there, yeah, I can agree with Juicy that some of us, the other guys, did a little too much sometimes and wasn't showing up and wasn't being respectful to who we was calling the boss.
Well, you yourself, did you have a drug of choice during that era?
Back then, the drug of choice for all of us, well, I ain't gonna say all of us, but most of the guys that were hanging with us, we did coke, smoke weed, and sip syrup and pop pills. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. He mentioned meth.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about the meth. Now, I once in my life got caught with some meth in Vegas, but it wasn't saying that I was doing it.
Yeah.
It was saying that I was pushing it to get extra cash or whatever niggas do in this rap game that don't really supposed to be selling drugs or hanging around that type of stuff. But, if you were saying that I was doing it and never saw me doing it, then, that's a whole different story.
I mean, out of all the drugs that you took, what would you say was the worst one? Like the worst, like the one that you would tell your kids never to touch?
Cocaine.
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 What makes cocaine so bad? Like me personally, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never tried cocaine. One of my very close friends overdosed and died when he was 23 from coke.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been around it before then. So when I went to that funeral, I said, I'm not gonna try this.
Well, I just think in the business that we in, cocaine is good for could be or might be or could be good for when you partying and not actually doing business. But in this game that we in, when you on coke, sometimes if you don't have a Leland Jones or, you know what I'm saying, my manager Dunn, them type of people, you'll head down the wrong road. You don't want to talk to people sometimes when you're hiding, and that's most of the time your business come through. You don't want to be around people and, because you thinking they judging you because they see you doing it or know you do it. You get what I'm saying? So that is the worst thing that I would say. Cocaine is bad for you because if you in music or entertainment, you need to be focused. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I remember I met a dude that had lost a fortune at one point. And I asked how he lost it. He said, cocaine is God's way of telling you got too much money.
No, yeah, because they do say it's a rich man drug. That was the first time I heard that saying, and then they started saying it's a white folks drug, a white man drug, or whatever, whatever. But like I said, rich man drug. Everyone shouldn't do it. And if you don't, if you have a chance to do it and you got a little money, be able to manage yourself like you need to manage yourself for the bills and every other thing in life you have to manage yourself for.
There you have it. There you have it. Well, Juicy said that he's retiring after 2 more albums. Do you believe him, or is he just
Well,
trying to sell some more albums at this point?
Yeah, I don't know. Like when it comes to Paul and Juicy, whatever they say, for me, it's what they fucking say. I don't. I go back and on anybody else that have something to say or talk about anything. But when it comes to them, I respect them so much where I ain't really got too much of what they talking about
Right.
for me to be talking about it on the interview.
There you go. And Paul, I remember after the verses, he actually said that him and Crazy Bone are still doing a project.
Yeah, they got a whole album. They got a whole album they've been working on, and let me send a big shout out to my brother Buck, Buck Shots. You know what I'm saying, Young Buck. That Paul and Buck got an album they working on.
I heard,
and I heard a little bit of it too with Buck, and it's jamming like a motherfucker. So y'all watch out.
Oh yeah, no, listen, man, I love Young Buck. We interviewed him about a year ago. Actually, almost exactly a year ago. And it was one of the biggest interviews of the year. I'm a big fan. I hope whatever he's going through, he gets over. And, whatever people are trying to pin on him, either he'll admit to it and let that behind him, or he'll just, if it's not true, then it's not true.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I was kind of letting him know because, he kind of spoke on some shit with us when we was just hanging together. But I was kind of letting him know, like, look, if you usher, you'll let the fire burn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you buck, you don't give a fuck, so why worry about what someone else saying? You know what I'm saying? So I just think Buck should just stay focused like he always been and do the good music and shit he been doing.
There you go.
They'll get over the bullshit.
Yep.